Yo, what's good? You're listening to Everyday Superpower, where we talk non-verbal communication, actual verbal communication, game, relationships, everything in between. Yo, this is my question to you today, yeah? Have you tried to have a conversation with them? Have you tried to have a conversation with them? This isn't even a deep one. But as all things are balanced, there is a level of deepness in comparison to the simplicity, purely as it can be the hardest or the last thing an individual wants to do, especially as they may be within their emotions. So I'm asking you, have you tried to have a conversation with them? Or actually, should I say, have you had a conversation with them? Because I will tell you 95% of the time there's no trying. If you open that window, apply this where you may, but I'm speaking, let's talk across several realms, yeah? You don't like someone and they don't like you. You've fallen out and disagree over something heavy, and you really don't like each other. There's an incredible conflict. But when you give them a telephone call and say, "Hi, it's so-and-so. I was just curious what the deal is with this," and you open dialogue and ask a question, not in an emotional manner, but in a logical and genuine way, as to which you can have a grown-up conversation over the matter. You don't necessarily have to settle your differences, but what you can do is de-escalate in a way, delve into a peaceful setting and move on in life. You will provoke respect in that individual who go forth and spread your message as well. "Did you know so-and-so rung me the other night?" "Really, what about?" "They just wanted to have a conversation in regards to the problem we were having." Do you know how little people do that? If you come to a disagreement over the call, over the conversation, you best believe the other party at hand will respect you in a means where they may have less of a problem, purely as indirectly you have given them an abnormal showcase of comfort in conflict. You have shown a true disassociation from the emotional value most people will be sucked within, deep within the whirlpool, creating a constant motion of anger, verbal aggression, consistent war in your life, which brings no benefit to you whatsoever. As Sun Tzu said, the real war is won without violence. So when you engage in conversation, what you do is you ask and you listen and you understand. We both have two perspectives. We have disagreed on a manner. You might not like me. That's fine. I understand that. Not everybody is going to like me. That's completely fine. And it can be on the deepest of matters. But when you call to understand, to engage with your opponent, you tick both of the boxes. Not only do you fight the fight on its highest degree, but you create such an incredible disturbance within the psyche of your opponent. You see? Because they're not doing it to you, because they don't have the balls to do that. Now, don't get me wrong, you can go through life without doing so, given it's a little tiff. But if this is a problem, if this stresses you, if you can't sleep, if you are losing sleep at night and worrying and planning maneuvers in order to deal with this particular circumstance, how about you give them a phone call? How about you accidentally bump into them? And as opposed to acting and reacting in an emotional manner and causing stress and escalating the situation, you say, yo, what was the problem? What was the problem? No, I don't come to cause trouble. I just want to know, alright? What you do is you don't submit. And what you do is you don't wave the white flag. And what you don't do is say sorry and roll over for the sake of getting walked over again by the same individual or the individual's counterparts. You show strength and boldness in creating engagement over the issue. You become a problem solver. This person doesn't want your problems. I know my opponent doesn't want the problems I can create and bring to their doorstep, right? So I am doing myself a service and I am doing them a service by opening constructive dialogue to ensure we can both move on in peace through life. You will engage in conversation and you may get an emotional reaction within so long. Don't get sucked into it. You obviously disagree over a certain thing, right? So when that disagreement gets brought up and you are forced to hear their perspective on the opinion you disagree with, don't get sucked into reacting once again in a negative manner, further creating and emphasizing the divide. Just listen to it through. You don't have to agree. You don't agree. But whether you verbalize that you disagree with them, or if you just listen, right? This is what I would advise. Just listen and say, okay. Well, thank you for telling me. Thanks for clearing that up a little bit. Okay. Now, where you go from there is up to you, but have you seen how I said it was a deep game? Although this is so simplistic. As always, these things are balanced. The perfect balance. In simplicity comes a deep level of understanding and effect. In something so simple, it's so hard to do for most people. And in doing so, you create an emphasis on your side of things, unfathomable in comparison to those who would go down the route of being emotional and reacting in ways that are expected of humans who are in these situations. You know what? I said I would go into multiple realms of perspective on the matter, but we can just stick with conflict as there's so much to say. You don't need it in your life, right? Now you're going to hear multiple different opposing points of view in my videos when it comes to damage control, conflict, warfare, strategy, human relations. Because in some, I'm going to speak on how life is war and communication and, you getting through life, whether you're establishing a business, whether you're in a particular social group, a tribe of some sorts, whether you are in a family, whether you are this, that, and the third, whether you generally just have an opinion, politically, societally, whether you are outspoken or internalized, extroverted or introverted, you're going to come across division and divisive characters and attitudes in your life. So by default, life is warfare, as you will always be fighting a battle, whether internally as far as your communications with others, or externally if you choose to speak up and fight the war, if you choose to take action and keep it non-verbal. But if you do not need it in your life, you can open up a dialogue and discussion and become larger than life by being absolutely fearless. I speak from personal experience where I can sit and plot and devise devious plans and understand every escape route, understand every level to the game I'm playing, whereas the other individual I understand but don't underestimate. is going to be ruled as a human, and being ruled as a human means, for the most part, given I find their thumbscrew, they will be emotionally triggered by particular behaviours and actions, and then from there I can go and lead that communication. But the moment you open up conversation and you keep that withheld, you understand that it's not worth it and it's not worth your time, and life moves on and life is better at peace. As when you are ill, you respect your health, but when you are in a space of chaotic nonsense, you really, really appreciate peace. Start a conversation. And like I said, this spans across the board. I've spoken in particular about those whom you have a disagreement with, but I would advise you start a conversation with whomever you feel uncomfortable with starting a conversation with. And by start a conversation, I mean start by saying, hey, are you alright? That's how we say it over here. That's small talk, right? But it's the way you say things and approach things. I'm not approaching things as a snake. Yeah, I'll have a motive, and that motive is to solve a problem in my life. But I'm not approaching that with a dagger hidden in my sleeve. If they disagree and don't want to get along with you, that's okay. Because as I said, they will be stricken in fear by the boldness of your character and the attitude of your approach. And on another level, you will understand, you will assess, you will observe and learn from their reaction, who they are, what they say, how they say it. We don't play things by chance and just guess and call people names and do that. It's not effective, it's not efficient, it's what the world does, but you don't have to subscribe to that. I'm signing out.